Hello everyone, I am Professor Rachna Mahule and we are learning about design and analysis of algorithm. Now today we are going to start our fourth unit and here we are going to learn about dynamic programming. In last unit we have learned about the greedy method there. Now we have seen that in divide and conquer strategy, the basic method is used to divide the original problem into various sub-problems, right? And after that we have learned about the greedy methods where we are going to find out the optimal solution for the problem, right? So there we are thinking for the highest, suppose we are talking about the profit, we want to get a maximum profit and we want to get a minimum cost for that. So that is what we have already learned in previous 2 units, right? 2 and 3 units we have learned about that. So what we are using in the divide and conquer strategy, that various sub problems will be there. We are dividing that original problem into various sub problems. To solve that sub problems, generally we are using recursions, right? And then we are going to combine the results so as to get the solution to the original problem. Now sometimes it happens that the natural way of dividing the problem leads to the subdivisions or the sub-instances which are overlapping. Now most of the time we find that there is one sub-problem which will be used multiple times, which we have to calculate that a small sub-problem multiple times. That is called as overlapping. So what is the idea behind this dynamic programming is quite simple. It avoids calculating the same thing twice, usually by keeping them the solutions in the table of the result that fills up the sub-instances of the problem that is solved. Whatever we have already solved, it will be stored into the table and we are going to reuse it. That is not there in the divide and conquer. Just like in greedy methods, of course, that is again to find out the optimal solution. This dynamic programming type of algorithms are also working for the optimization. We are going to find out multiple solutions and from that multiple solutions we are going to find out the optimum solution for our problem, right? So that is what here actually the dynamic programming is an algorithmic technique for solving an optimization problem. Again, by breaking it into the simple sub problems, we are dividing the problem into the sub problems and utilizing the fact that the original or optimum solution where we have to get the optimum solution, overall problem is depend upon the optimum solution to these sub problems. By finding out these solutions for sub problem, we are going to find out the optimum solution there. So dynamic programming is an algorithmic design method that can be used when the solution to the problem may be viewed as a result of sequence of decisions. Multiple solutions will be there for a single problem. We are having sequence of decisions there, but we are going to find out the optimum solution for that, right? So that is nothing but the dynamic programming. So we are going to learn this dynamic programming by means of one example, right? You are knowing very well what is meant by Fibonacci series, right? So we have a Fibonacci series or the Fibonacci number. We are knowing Fibonacci numbers here. So what is the Fibonacci number? Here, suppose we are talking about the Fibonacci series or the Fibonacci numbers. Here we will have the first number is 0 and the second number is 1. Now after that, if we want to find out the next number of the Fibonacci, in that we are going to just add the first number and the second number here. means we are going to find out the number here. So we are just going backward there for the first number, that is n minus 1, and here we are going to add the number, that is n minus 2. So here we are having n minus 1 plus n minus 2 is 0 plus 1, that is equal to 1. So the third number we are getting in the Fibonacci series is 1 here. Now after that, suppose we want the number after this particular number, means what? Here we are having n minus 1, that is equal to this number, and n minus 2 is nothing but this number. So here both are 1 1. So n minus 1 is 1 and n minus 2 is again 1, and we are going to add that two numbers. 1 plus 1 is 2 here. So likewise again we are going to find out the Fibonacci series here. So the Fibonacci series will be 0, 1, then 1 plus 0 is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, then 3 plus 2, here we are going to add this, 3 plus 2 is 5, again we are going to add this 2, that is 3 plus 5 is 8. So that is what here in this manner we are going to continue. Means if we want to find out the number in the Fibonacci series, we are going for the n minus 1 number plus n minus 2 number. So these two numbers will be added. Okay. So that is what here we are having 13. So that is what the Fibonacci series. So to compute this Fibonacci series, here we are just using nth term, right? So here if we want to find out the nth Fibonacci number recursively, at that time what we have to do? We have to find out it by using f of n. We want to find out f of n. So for that we must know what is f of n minus 1 and what is f of n minus 2, right? Just I have already explained you, that is 0 1 1. Here if we want to find out the next number, we have to move for the n minus 1 and we have to move for the n minus 2 here. So that is f is nothing but here we have used for Fibonacci series, right? F is for Fibonacci. So that is what here if we want to find out the next number, we have to know f of n minus 1 and f of n minus 2 there. So the first solution is, if you have n is equal to 0, means you will have only 0 in your series. Now if you are having f of 1, means 0 and 1 will be the two numbers in that particular Fibonacci series. Then that is what the fixed values, f of 0 is equal to 0 and f of 1 is equal to 1. So that is what here we have 0, 1, 1, 2, then 3. So here this is nothing but your f of 0 and this is your f of 1. And after that f of 2 is 1, f of 3 is 2, f of 4 is 3 here. So likewise we are going in forward manner. So that is what the Fibonacci series here. So here we have just code for that. If we want to find out the Fibonacci of nth number, we must know if n is less than or equal to 1, it will return 1, right? That is what this 2 will be there. And if it is not, means we are going to the else part, in that we are going to add the previous two numbers here. That is just written like f of n is the combination or the addition of f of n minus 1 and f of n minus 2. F of n minus 1 is actually addition of previous one. So if we want to find out this particular number, so it will add these two. But if we are at this particular number, that is f of n minus 1 is 3 here in this example, the n minus 1 is equal to 3, which is the addition of these two, 1 plus 2. So that is f of n minus 1 is nothing but the addition of f of n minus 2 and f of n minus 3. This is f of n minus 2 and this is f of n minus 3 here. So that is what here we are going in, that is top down approach. Here we have top and we are going just in down in the tree, right? So that is what called as top down approach. Now here what is the problem? with this particular Fibonacci series. Let's see. Here we have what is the recurrence relationship. Now recurrence relationship means how many times you are going to call it, right? You are going to call the subproblems here. Of course, if we are talking about the nth number, so the clearly here we are having the complexity of this particular relationship is big O of 2 to the power n, that is exponential. Multiple times we are going to find out the recursion here. Now see in this example only, here we have f of n minus 2, f of n minus 2. F of n minus 1 is again there. When we are going just down, we will get f of n minus 1 there. So f of n plus minus 3 is here, f of n minus 3 is here. Generally, multiple times we are calculating the same values here, right? Same functions we are calling recursively. So if we are talking about the nth number or nth term, it will have the complexity that is 2 to the power n. Exponential will be there. So that is what the big O. Now in best case, actually we are going to find out 2 to the power n by 2. Means at least half of the numbers will be in the exponential for the best case here. And for the average case, we are having the number that is actually it will be a linear. Means if you are having 10 numbers there, it will go for 10 numbers, 10 recursions. So that is what here we are having all the three cases. Big O is the worst case, big omega is the best case, and theta is the average case here. So that is what here we are having three cases when we are using the Fibonacci series, when we are using the top-down approach. So it is of course not a better solution. So what we are going for? So we are going for the next solution of this Fibonacci series, and it will use the bottom-up approach. Now what is meant by bottom up approach here? We are knowing that it is fixed, that here if it is f of 0, then we will have the number 0. If we will have f of 1, it will have the number 1. And if we go for f of 2, it will always have the value is equal to 1. If we'll go for the next number, means here we will have 2. If we go for the next number, it will have the value is equal to 3. It is fixed, right? So how much the number n is given, depending on that we can find out all these numbers, right? So of course we can find here the minimum valued function. So that is we are going to use this, means f of 0 will be stored into the table. Now see, whenever we are using the bottom up approach, in that we are going to use one structure. Generally it is array, and in that array we are going to save the solutions for the function. We are we can use the single dimensional array or the two dimensional array, that is table here. So generally for the bottom up approach, we are using the tables and the solutions will be stored into the table. Now in this example, what we are going to store? We are just using one array here, and in that array the f of 0 is stored at this particular position, f of 1 is stored in this particular position. Then after that we are going to store f of 3, f of 2. So that is what 1 here it is f of 3, that is equal to 2, and here we are going up to f of n here. Okay, whatever value of n is given, we can find out the solution for that. Whenever we need f of 0, at that time we are going to just reuse this particular value. It is already calculated, it is already stored in the array, and we can just get this value from this array and we can use it. So there is no need for finding out f of 0 multiple times, f of 1 multiple times, or f of n minus 1 multiple times, or f of n minus 2, or whatever value is there, all are stored in the array, and we can use that numbers by using this particular array, we can retrieve the values from this table. So when we use this type of bottom-up approach, of course it is very efficient, right? So efficiency of this algorithm, here the time required is of course n, big O of n, because n number of data, n number of inputs are there, and also we are having n number of value here. That is, the array will have again the n number of values, that is f of n. And here we have the space complexity. The array will have the size that is equal to n. So that is what here we are having the Fibonacci series with the bottom up approach. So in this we have the top down approach, and here we are using the bottom up approach. Now if we are using the bottom up approach, and if suppose we are going to find out the Fibonacci series for 5, right? So here we are going for the Fibonacci series of 5, right? So how we are going to calculate that Fibonacci series of 5? So 5 will be addition of the Fibonacci series 4 and Fibonacci number 3, right? So fifth number is the addition of 4 and 3. Now the fourth number is addition of 3 and 2. The third number is addition of 2 and 1. Then f of 2 is the addition of f of 1, f of 0. Same is here for f of 3. F of 3 is addition of 2 and 1. F of 2 is addition of 1 and 0. So that is what here we are having the actual values. If we want to find out the fifth Fibonacci number, at that time we are going to add all these values. Now see how many times we are repeating the values, how many times we are going to calculate that values. F of 2 is calculated by here multiple times, that is 1, 2 and 3. 3 times we are going to calculate f of 2. 2 times here we are going to calculate f of 3. Now if imagine here, if we are going for calculating here f of 100, right? Here we are going for f of 100. What will be the value? How many times we are going to find out f of 2, f of 3, f of 1? You can imagine here. So that is what here in recursion, multiple times the value will be repeated. So what will be the solution? Save the solution in the table. One time find out the value of f of 0, f of 1, save it into the table. Then find out the value of f of 2, save it into the table and reuse whenever required. Save the value of f of 3 and so save it into the table and reuse that value whenever required. So that is what the approach of dynamic programming. So that is what here we are having the Fibonacci numbers. Now we will see actual dynamic programming. Okay, so here the dynamic programming is an algorithm design technique. Remember, it is a design technique for optimization problems. I have already told you about the optimization problem, often minimizing or maximizing. Most of the time, most of the problems are there. Suppose if I want to sell something, so of course I will think about the profit. Means I am thinking about the maximizing problem here, right? I need the maximum profit, so I will use that particular product which will give us the maximum profit. Okay, now for example the second one, if I want to go from one place to another, so I have to choose the path, and I need that path which is having the smallest cost or the smallest time. So that is what here we will find out for the minimization, right? So here we are having the minimization and maximization. Again, the dynamic programming uses this both. Then here, like divide and conquer, here the dynamic programming solves the problems by combining the solutions to the sub-problems. Here again we are having a big problem there. It will be divided into multiple sub-problems. small problems are there, and each and every problem is having the solution there, right? Multiple solutions will be this problem will have multiple solutions, and then these solutions will be combined to find out the optimum solution there. So it is unlike the divide and conquer, sub problems are not independent. Now here for independent we will see one example. Suppose here you are having one the example is for merge sort. Now here we have the sorting algorithm is there, one array is given, and in that you are having suppose value 5, then 3, then 4 and 1, right? So in merge sort what we are doing here, in merge sort that the array is divided into two parts, and here we will have the values, first is 5 and 3, then here we have 4 and 1. Then again this is divided into two parts, so here we will have 5 in this particular part, and here we have 3 in this particular part, and here again it is divided into two parts, here in that we have 4 and in this we are having 1, right? So what will happen here? So here we are going to just check it. So here we will have the, as it is a sorting algorithm, we have to sort it. So here 5 and 3 will be sorted, so we are getting 3 5, right? It is returned to this particular position, so here it will be converted to 3 and 5. Now after that here we are going to again sort it, so here it will have the solution, that is 1 and 4, and again we are going to combine these two, 3 5 and 1 4, so it will give you, again we have to just sort it, so we are getting the values, that is 1 3 4 and 5. So that is what here we are using the merge sort. Now here the problem is independent, we are solving independently. Here 5 and 3 are independent, 4 and 1 are independent. Here it is not repeated anywhere. These values are not repeated anywhere, but it may happens in the dynamic programming that the repetitions may occur. Now what is that example of repetition? Of course, say this, in this Fibonacci series f2 f2 f2, that is repeated 3 times. These are what the sub problems, and that sub problems are divided in calculated multiple times. So that is what here we will have the overlapping. This type of problem is called as overlapping. When the small sub problems is computed multiple times or is called multiple times, it is called as overlapping, means it is not independent here. Okay, so it may be used multiple times in your program or in your algorithm. So that is what, unlike the divide and conquer, here sub problems are not independent, that sub problems may share sub problems. So that is what here we are using the sub problems into the sub problems. So here in this example we are having this particular main problem. This is your original problem. It is divided into two sub problems. This is one sub problem which is calling another sub problem, right? So that is what here we are having the sub problems which are not independent, right? So that is what here we have the dynamic programming. Now next here we have the term dynamic programming comes from control theory, not from computer science. That programming refers to use tables here. We are generally using arrays to construct a solutions. So in dynamic programming, usually reduce time by increasing the amount of space. Generally, here we are using, we are just storing the data into the table. So we can say that here increasing the amount of space here. Then in this we solve the problem by solving sub-problems of increasing size and saving each optimal solution in the table. We are going to store the data into the table. The table is used for finding the optimal solution of the longer problems. Of course, whenever we require the answer or solution for the smaller problem, we can take it from the table and we can use it into the bigger problem. Then time is saved since each sub problem is solved only once. So here we are not going to repeatedly solve these problems. We are solving the sub problems once only and we are going to store that problem into the table. So that is what here we have the dynamic programming which solves the sub problem only once and reuse multiple times here. That is what the dynamic programming here. Now let's talk about the characteristics of dynamic programming. Here the dynamic programming has two characteristics. First is overlapping subproblem and second is optimal substructure property. Now what is meant by overlapping subproblems? Subproblems are smaller versions of the original problem. We are knowing that one problem is divided into multiple subproblems or smaller versions of the original problem. Then any problem has overlapping subproblems. It finds its solution involves solving the same subproblems multiple times. That is what the overlapping. Multiple times we are using that the same subproblem. So here we have already seen that the overlapping subproblem pattern is Fibonacci 2 is repeated multiple times, Fibonacci 1 is again used multiple times. So that is what multiple times we are using that subproblems, that is called as overlapping. Now the second one is the optimum substructure property. Substructure property means what? Here any problem has optimum substructure property if its overall optimal solution can be constructed from optimal solution of its subproblem. That is what the Fibonacci series. In that we have f of n, that f of n minus 1, f of n minus 2. So that n minus 1 and n minus 2, that is what this clearly shows that problem of size n has been reduced to subproblems of size n minus 1 and n minus 2. So and so on. So that is what, therefore the Fibonacci numbers have optimum substructure property. So that is what these two are there, overlapping of subproblems and substructure property. Now the next one is the dynamic programming methods. Here we will have the methods for solving this dynamic programming. So first method is the top down with memorization and the second method is bottom up with tabulation. Now see, top down with memorization means what? In this approach, we try to solve the bigger problem by recursively finding the solution for the smaller subproblems. As we have seen here, f of n is just recursively called the f of n minus 1, right? Plus here we are just adding an f of n minus 2. So that is what here we are having. So here we have f of n minus 1 and f of n minus 2. So it is calling the problems, subproblems. So that is what it is, top-down approach. We are starting with n and we are going to find out the solution for n minus 1 and n minus 2. So here it is just solution, it is finding out the solution for the smaller subproblems. Wherever we solve the subproblems, we catch the result, we save the result so that we don't end up with solving repeatedly here. So here it is called as, this technique of storing result already solved subproblems is called memorization. We are storing that data, we are memorizing that data here. Now after that, the second is bottom up with tabulation. The second is bottom up with tabulation. In that, what we are doing, tabulation is the opposite of top down approach. It is just reverse of that top down approach and avoids recursion. It avoids recursion. In this approach, we solve the problem in bottom up manner by solving all the related sub problems first. First, we will solve the sub problems. For example, in this example, in Fibonacci numbers, we find out the value for f of 0, then f of 1, f of 2, and we have already stored that data into the table. So that is what here we already find out the problems of sub problems, solutions for sub problems, and we are going to use in the whenever we have given the value of n. So depending on that, we are going to just reuse these values. So that is what this is typically done by filling up the n dimensional table. It may be one dimensional, that is array, it may be two dimensional, that is table. So we are going to store the data into the tables, right? It is based on the result in the table, the solution to the top original problem is computed. By using that, we are going to compute it. So the tabulation is opposite to memorization, as memorization will solve the problem and maintain the map already stored, already solved problems, subproblems. We are maintaining the maps in the memorization, and in the other words, in memorization we do it by using the top down sense, that we solve the top problem first and then we are going to recursively call the sub problems. So that is what here the bottom up approach is nothing but starting from the smaller problem to the bigger problem, and the top down approach is the first we are going to find out the bigger problem, we are going to divide it, and then we are multiple times recursively calls the sub problems. So that is what the dynamic programming methods here, top down and bottom up. Generally, the divide and conquer methods are top down memorization methods, and the dynamic programming methods generally uses bottom up with tabulation methods. So that is what here we have the discussion about the dynamic programming. In next lecture, we are going to start with the algorithms which uses the dynamic programming. We will see some examples of dynamic programming there. So for today, we learned about this dynamic programming, and in next lecture, we are going to learn about the I think multi-stage graph is there. Okay, so we'll see that topic in the next lecture. Thank you.